case file number 4001.2, The Monk of the Final Religion. Transcribed from video recording. Interview with Calvin Shaw. The following interview of Calvin Shaw is transcribed from a video file labeled DDI Room 1, Camera A, dated October 10th, 2015. Timestamp of the recording begins at 16:34:16. The interview is being conducted by Special Agent Ruby Gamble, Specialist of Foreign Anomalies. Calvin Shaw enters the interview room at 16:40:11.
Alright, you already know who I am. I'm Agent Travis. Go ahead. Have a seat at that far chair for me, would you? This one right here? Yeah, that'll do. Will my wife be coming in, or... Your wife's being interviewed just next door, Mr. Shaw. We want to make sure your accounts line up independently. We hope you understand. No, I understand completely. Just wanted to be sure. No problem. Thank you for your patience with us, Mr. Shaw. We hope to have you and your wife out of here in no time. Hope so. It's been a wild couple of days. Looking forward to seeing the sun again.
Agent Shaw left the interview room at 16:41:04. Special Agent Gamble entered the interview room at 16:45:42.
Hi, Mr. Shaw?
Extends her hand. Mr. Shaw takes it, and they shake.
I'm Special Agent Ruby Gamble. It's nice to see you. Nice to see you too, ma'am. I'm ready for all this to be over. Oh, I bet. It's been exciting. And I completely understand if you're a little confused or frightened right now. I'm a little nervous, I guess. I'm definitely something right now. Understandable. We like to keep a tight lid on things around here, and sometimes that's not the most opportune for those who didn't ask to be here. Are you thirsty? No, thank you. Hungry? Not terribly. They gave us a little just about a half an hour ago, maybe. Little sandwiches. Okay, well, if you don't mind, I'm going to request the agents outside to bring a couple of waters in. I'm feeling a little thirsty. I have no problem with that. Good, good. Well, I don't see any reason to keep you waiting any longer. I just had a few questions I wanted to ask you. And after that, we'll see if we can get you on your way. Does that sound good to you? More than you'd ever believe. Okay, awesome. Well, I just wanted to ask a little about the events that transpired 3 days ago. October 7th, inside the Indian state of Bihar. See, our main focus with you two is the issue of containment. The incident that occurred, that you were both witnesses to, is one of great importance to our department and one we want to handle with the utmost care. Consider it an issue of national security, understand? Completely. And you will tell me the full truth to the best of your ability. Of course, that's all I've done since the beginning. Perfect. You do that, and I guarantee you we'll have both of you out of here as fast as humanly possible. Now, you and your wife were on vacation, correct? If that's what you want to call it. Didn't exactly feel very relaxing. I bet. You, both you and your wife, were visiting the village of Bodh Gaya, correct? Yes, ma'am. One of the holiest pilgrimage sites in the world, right? It is if you're a Buddhist, yes. You Buddhist? No. Just thought it would be something to see, you know? Sure. I just wanted to be sure. But what religion do you follow, if you don't mind me asking, of course? I was born Catholic, but I've kind of just let that part of me... just let it slip away. Would you consider yourself an atheist now? Not particularly. Is this actually important? Hang tight, Mr. Shaw. I guarantee it is. Now, you were inside the Bodh Gaya on the day in question. You went to the Myuu temple, correct? Sometime around 1300 hours and 1400 hours. Approximately the time frame when the event in question occurred. we went inside the temple at about 1:33, so yeah, I think that's about right. Sorry, I had to do the conversion in my head. No problem. Just wanted to check. Can you describe to me, in your own words, what you saw in that temple? Can you describe the event to me? I mean, I can try, but I've been trying to explain this to myself for the past 3 days, and nothing about it makes sense. I know you guys seem very interested, but I feel like if I tell you, it's gonna feel like a waste of your time. Not in this department, it's not. Which department is this exactly? Please begin the story, Mr. Shaw. Well, it was a normal day. Hot, little muggy. Clouds rolling in the sky. But we were enjoying ourselves. Did it rain later? Yeah, it poured actually. Noted. Tell me about the temple. We entered the temple. Beautiful architecture. Cost to get in. Cost a little bit extra for the camera fee. Did you take any pictures? No, we didn't pay the fee. Guess it might have helped you guys out. I'm personally glad. I don't want to see that again. Continue, please. Okay, well, inside the temple there are hordes of monks. To them, there is no closer place to enlightenment on the face of the earth, so they congregate there. They all look the same, not in a racial way, but in a uniform way, you know? Orange robes, bald head, that kind of thing. Right. Well, there was this one guy who immediately stood out among the rest. The monk in black. The monk of the final religion. How did you know his name? What? You called him the monk of the final religion. Where did you hear those words? The truth be told, I honestly can't tell you, ma'am. I just know. He didn't say it? No, not that specifically. Not from what I remember. What did he look like when you first saw him? He looked like a walking corpse, to be honest with you. He wore all black, from his neck all the way down to his feet. His robe was baggy and ragged. He looked like a corpse? Can you clarify? His skin was pale. No, not pale. It was gray. Nothing but gray skin and bones. His face was... it was shrunken. And his eyes... he could barely hold them open. Not sure if he was just old, or if he was diseased initially, but no expression on his face at all. What did he do? My wife pointed him out to me at first. The way he lumbered through the crowd. It was hard to miss him. The other monks seemed to avoid him. Did the other monks seem to fear him, or... No, they just seemed disdainful. You know, I don't think they knew any more about him than we did. Just that he was a guy in the crowd. When did he stop being just a guy in a crowd? It was a young lady who bumped into him first. She was taking pictures and didn't see him coming. Another tourist? I think so, but she was Indian too. Anyways, this guy bumps into her, and she turns around just to see him. And that's when it happened first. How did it happen? He put his hand on her shoulder, and he whispered something in her ear. It took maybe 5, maybe 10 seconds in total. But that was all he needed. He whispered one phrase, and she was his. Explain. She followed him around after that, closely. She started lumbering just like him. I didn't think much of it. Maybe she knew him. Maybe he'd asked her to follow him. I didn't care why. She just did. And I went on my way. What happened next? The guy started amassing his followers. That's the only way I can put it. We were walking through, admiring the scenery. and every once in a while I'd turn around and see him. Each time I did, I noticed his line of admirers had grown larger. It started with just a handful, but within just about, 10 minutes, he had about 20 following him in a large group, all of them stumbling around as mindlessly as him. That was about when I realized that something wasn't quite right. Did you do anything? What could I have done? I didn't even know what was happening. I still don't know what's happening. Describe what he did with the group he amassed. He collected maybe a couple more. And then there's this room inside the temple. There's a giant golden Buddha inside. A statue. Supposed to represent the deity overthrowing evil spirits, or something along those lines. He led them all straight to it, and the whole time, he was mumbling. Mumbling? Did you hear it? No. I just saw his lips moving. It could have been a tremor or something. I don't know. I don't particularly care. Anyways, there's normally a barrier keeping people out of that room. It's a look, don't touch kind of scenario.
Agents enter with water at 16:51:53.
Thank you. Are you sure you're not thirsty? Did you get something to drink earlier? Positive. And I think I skipped it. Don't feel particularly thirsty. Thanks anyways. No problem. You were talking about the room. Oh, right. They went in there. Don't know how they got through the barrier. But they filled that room. Shoulder to shoulder, hand in hand. I don't even know what to call him. Their leader sat at the front of them, cross-legged, right in front of the Buddha statue. Right. And that's when you knew that something was up? We knew that when they started chanting. You heard them chanting? What did they say? It wasn't English. I don't know. It wasn't Hindi or Sanskrit, or any other dialect that I recognized. Granted, there aren't many I do, but no one there seemed to understand what they were saying. How did the others react? How did you react? React is the appropriate word, because from the moment they started, there was an immediate reaction. The intensity of that reaction varied based on how close you were. The people closest to them just started screaming. In pain or fear? Pain, I think. They were primal, called our eyes, and it drowned them all out for a moment. Then, those who were screaming joined in too. Joined in the chanting? Exactly. And then the ones just past them started screaming too. Then they started chanting. It was a chain reaction that spread outwards, like waves. And that monk was the epicenter. So you're claiming that these words traveled along and infected people? Almost like a virus. I don't know. It seemed to change them, that's for sure. We wondered at first if maybe it was something scripted, like a Buddhist ritual or something. But then people started running. You said that the effects varied based on distance. How far away from the epicenter were you? Maybe 200 feet? Did the chanting have an effect on you? I think so. My wife said she felt it too, but I got a headache. It was negligible at first, but it grew as the chanting did. Like the chanting was causing me pain. I have to put two and two together, right? But it doesn't make sense. Little in this world does. Was the headache all? You ever get those moments where you remember something really embarrassing you've done? Peed yourself in front of somebody, tripped in front of a person you like? It was like that, but with pain. Every time I'd been hurt, physically, emotionally, crashing my bike and skidding down my gravel driveway in elementary school, breaking my collarbone playing rugby in college, the death of my mother, They all came back to me in that moment. And it had to have been them. It had to have been that chanting. It just made me feel... It made me feel wrong. Your wife felt the same? Yeah, I'm sure she'll tell you. She cried for hours afterwards. Doesn't this all seem crazy to you? Of course it does. You don't seem fazed at all. Crazy doesn't constitute unusual for me. Afterwards, you managed to get away from the temple okay. You said people were running. How did you guys escape? Yeah. We ran with the others. The wave couldn't continue long after that. Everyone who had been there left earshot, and that's what stopped it. It stopped the pain, stopped the memories. Didn't stop me from feeling like shit, though. Did those who were chanting make any effort to follow you? No. Once they started chanting, they just kind of stopped anything. They sat down with the others. Just to clarify, was it only those inside the temple closest to the epicenter, the ones who were chanting? No. A few people stopped on the way outside, scattered amongst us. They just stopped in their tracks and started chanting, loudly. They caught a few people trying to flee, but for the most part, we avoided it. I think mostly everyone got out of there. They just stopped, even though they were further away from the monk. Yeah, then just suddenly succumbed. Like a delayed reaction. I suppose so, yeah. Anything else unusual about the victims? Anything at all noteworthy? Well, it started raining outside as we ran. Saw it on a few of those scattered ones outside the temple. Raindrops fell, landed on their skin, and I swore I saw smoke coming out of them. Like it burned them? The rain harmed them. Yeah, seemed to. Left welts, large ones from what I could see. I don't know why. It didn't harm us at all. Are you okay? You seem a bit flustered. Sorry, just remembering it. It's uncomfortable. Emotionally, mentally, physically? All the above. You may just be dehydrated. No, I'm fine. As for the rain, another side effect of the chanting, you assume. Yeah, I mean, it had to be, but I don't understand how. They were just words. Words can't possibly have that effect on people. What we saw was impossible. Manipulation, physical and mental. Sorry, it's a lot to remember. I understand. You both have been through a trauma. We really appreciate you working with us. We really do. I only have a few items left to take care of. If you don't mind, would you care to take a look at these pictures our crew took at the site of the incident? Oh, God, I'd rather not. I don't. Please, Mr. Shaw. We want to confirm that there is nothing in these photos that might make you recall something important. We just have to be sure. It's a matter of national importance. Okay, I suppose I can.
3 photos are laid before Calvin Shaw at 16:56:39.
Okay, wow. How long after were these taken? Hours. Jesus. And you're sure? Did any of the infected exhibit physical symptoms similar to the ones you see before you? No, not at all. What's that coming out of them? We don't know. And it's not exactly coming out of them. We believe it's growing out of them. Jesus. And this was the Buddha room? Yes. Are they still up there? Not that I should be telling you, but yes, they are. No one knows how to properly transport the victims at the current time. They've almost morphed together. They don't even look... I can take those back, Mr. Shaw. They look like tendrils. Like roots. I think I can see him smiling in there. Mr. Shaw, please, I can take those. Right, sorry. Here. Sorry you had to see that. That was almost us. But how? It doesn't make any sense. No, it doesn't. You were correct in your assumptions, because we believe the same. However impossible, exposure to the words of that monk created physiological changes within the victims seen here. Changes in your wife as well. No, but we got away. We're both here. We're fine. We're not... Whatever the hell that was. That didn't happen to us. But you did hear the words, right? We heard a little. Just a fraction. But like I said, the effects didn't last long. You're sweating a bit. Are you sure you don't want some... No, thank you. It's just warm. I've got a headache. And would you like some Advil? Hopefully I'll be able to pick some up on the way home. Thank you very much. It's a good plan. Stay right here for a moment, and I'll record your testimony. Thank you so much, Mr. Shaw.
Special Agent Gamble leaves the interrogation room at 17:02:22. Starting at 17:02:33, the sound input for Camera A is turned off by authorization of Special Agent Ruby Gamble. Calvin Shaw stands and starts pacing the room at 17:24:10. At 17:34, 5 DSA containment agents equipped with padded, soundproof suits enter and forcefully remove Calvin Shaw from the interrogation room. Calvin Shaw starts screaming at and resisting DSA containment agents. At 17:34:23, video from Camera A catches Calvin Shaw knocking over the interrogation table in the scuffle. Calvin Shaw is pinned against the floor by DSA containment agents at 17:34:54. At 17:35:03, it is noted that as the DSA containment agents lifted the now handcuffed Calvin Shaw off the floor, Calvin Shaw is then escorted out of the interrogation room at 17:35:35. Additional note: at 17:34:11, smoke is visible within the interrogation room, emanating presumably from Calvin Shaw's person. Property of the DSA. Designation: Top Secret. Case status: Unresolved.